Hallelujah. There's that sun poking its head out, which is good because there's a bit of a drizzle falling right now. The whole reason I went out to go for a walk was because it was supposed to stop, but it appears the sun is poked out of the clouds, which means the clouds are moving that way, which means all this disgusting rain nonsense is going away from me. So I'm going to take the risk and head out and do my walk under the hopes that this will screw off. So I'm walking down 112th, southeast 112th, going south. I just waited briefly while the sprinkles decided to finally go away. And no, you don't get a hell yeah, brother. Today I'm just gonna be like hitting up random park spaces south of my place, culminating in going to a spot that I saw yesterday. I was out with my girlfriend and her parents, they were out door dashing, and we just came along for the ride, you know, to get out of the house because it was raining, so we certainly weren't going to walk around. And in the process of that walk, we traversed everything, you know. We started from around here, ended up in Gresham, and then ultimately ended up all the way over in Tigard, way on the other side of the river. Somebody bought food from Selwood and had it delivered to Tigard. But anyway, as we were driving around, we ended up on Foster Road, which is about 3 miles south of my place. And there's like there's a lot of little interesting things down there. I'd like to spend more of a full day kind of in that general area, just seeing what I find, because I know there's a lot of wetlands and wildlife stuff out there. But I woke up late, I slept like I just flat dead out. I didn't fall asleep till like maybe a little after 5 a.m. I just couldn't fall asleep. And just lost total track of time. Next thing you know, I wake up and I'm like, what's that? Rollover? It's like 3:15 in the afternoon. I just was out. And I really don't know why. I didn't do much yesterday. But because I'm getting a late start and I'm kind of diving into this right out of the gate, pretty much once I get to Foster and that little wetlands area, that's going to be where I finish and then turn and start coming back home. I'm not putting in another 14-mile day. Now here's a mystery to me. This house has a screen door and there's an N in the middle there. Now I've seen those on screen doors my whole life, but there'll be different letters. There'll be an N, an M, a G, and I have no idea what those letters mean, having seen them as much as I have. So I could probably look that up and figure out what it is, but as intrigued as I am, I don't really have the wherewithal to even do that. But it is interesting. Every time I see one of those doors, I'm like, what do those random letters mean? Oh. So this is, simply put, this is Mill Park. And you'll note there's a school over here, you know, and then this is the park over here, and there's nothing separating the school from the park. I walked through this park once on this trail, and it was just in time for recess to start, so a bunch of kids start flooding out of the school, and you know, they're like, this path essentially serves as like the barrier for how far the kids can go, and then this is the park over here. And the park's looking pretty clean right now because the first time I walked through here and saw all these kids running out and literally playing right here, there was at least 3 or 4 what I would say potentially homeless but very sketchy looking characters. And they were just like you know, hanging out, camped out. There was some guy sitting on a bench over here right on the other side of this kind of beaten down path, and they were just staring at the kids. And I'm like, this is not good. You need to at least put a fence up here along the path. Yeah, see, that's the bench that these guys were sitting at. So yeah, this whole area is just subject to, you know, anybody who wants to cut through here and wants to, you know, and aside from having attendants out during recess, you know, who need to be paying extremely close attention, because, you know, like when I was in elementary school, we had a big area to play in, but we also had a fence around it. So, you know, you had to climb the fence to escape, and nobody was going to go that far. Yeah, and I remember seeing all the kids flood out here. I saw like one attendant out here watching over like at least 150, 200 kids. And there were guys, a couple guys just sitting here. Not, you know, they were probably about in their 40s. And they were just staring at the kids. So there's not much, as you can see, to the park. It's just kind of, there's just a field over here next to the school. But yeah, this is not a horrid neighborhood, but this ain't a great neighborhood either. So this is really not a great setup. But the fact that these kids are just right there, you know, one of them wanders far enough, someone could snatch them. And an attendant might not even notice. How's an attendant going to differentiate between 185 and 184 kids, you know? So, yeah, Mill Park School, they need to put a fence up or something. They got to do something. Man, this is one of the older, I mean, they still pretty much look like this, but they've replaced a lot of these signs. This is one of the, like, really older ones where you can really see the wood. But yeah, most of the parks in this area are kind of trashy like that. They're just like, here's a little bit of green space for you to walk in, you know, don't say we didn't give you parks. And it's like, no. Because yeah, most of the parks are like that. It's just a patch of grass with a few trees that isn't really that well maintained. That's a lot of parks in South, especially around here. Ooh, very nice. Way to make something kind of bland into something interesting. I appreciate the effort. Good going. That's what I love. It's the battle of the pizza businesses. You've got a Pizza Hut right here in the foreground, and then right across the way, just staring at it, you've got that Domino's right over there. Battle for the ages. I was supposed to be lingering around 112th. How the hell did this happen? So I ended up stuck on 122nd all the way up to Division. Ooh, Rose City Dental. I had quite the painful, necessary emergency extraction from this place, because it was one of the few emergency places that was open on a Sunday. God, that hurt. And then they proceeded to do a few more extractions, unfortunately, because that's what happens when you don't take care of your teeth when you're younger. I'm not touching you. Oh man, this is like a thing from my childhood. For some reason, I always remember seeing this when I passed by it as a kid, this Division Center clock tower here at 122nd and Division. I really love this. This just stuck out to my mind as a kid passing by growing up. Now I see it all the time because I live right up the street, but anyway, so 119th is right up here. I was just gonna go down to 119th right there and then start going down, but there's a guy of suspicious appearance.
Awesome shirts you got, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. The guy's still talking to me. I don't know what that was about. I was just cutting through the parking lot doing my thing, and this guy kind of just wild, crazy, flaming red hair, and he had a big, bright, kind of greenish face mask on thing, and he was like, "I like your shorts, man," which I get it, I agree. I like them, they're bright, they're flashy. And then I walked like past another car, and like, you know, I'm getting to a point where I'm like away from him, and he was just continuing to yell stuff at me. Like, "I'm serious, man, I'm not even," I was like, "I didn't think you were. I'm just trying to get where I'm going." I love those random encounters. For the record, this street looks kind of cute, but man, right back there where I came out, there's a lot of loitering and a lot of suspicious folks. I don't know if they saw these shorts and thought that I'm somehow in the money. These shorts, by the way, were $6.50 at Walmart. And again, kind of spitballing off of what I briefly discussed in my last therapy walk about how Portland doesn't really have ghettos. They have kind of sketchy areas, but they don't really have ghettos, you know, especially as we know them in various other parts of the country. Because right now, again, I'm kind of walking through one of the more seedier parts of town. Like, and you see, like, this is not bad. You don't have, like, you know, 2 blocks worth of homes that are all boarded up. It's just not that bad. You know, I've seen a lot of suspicious characters around here, but as far as the setup you see, you know, some of the houses are smaller, you know, so they're probably cheaper, but it's not bad. Hidden Portland for the curious moment right here. Just abandoned in the brush. It's knobs for a sink, faucet, what have you. I love those little finds. Oh, yuck. I just missed like me like trying to leapfrog a puddle and misjudging where it ended and splattering my foot a little bit. This foot's a little damp. Just doing what I can to survive. Alright, turned off the busy street. I can't see. Yeah, so I can just kind of weeble wobble my way down the road here. Oh man, this car's beat up. It's starting to get a little overcast and ominous again, but I gotta say, I kind of love it. It's kind of, you know, when the sky's still kind of bright, there's a lot of blue sky above you and white clouds, but everything below it is just pitch black. So we got a middle school over here. I'm wondering if they got these tents set up for people to like pick up assignments for kids or something. Because by my understanding, well, everyone I know of is doing distance learning right now. Like, the kids aren't going to school. As far as I know, most circumstances in the area, every school I've walked by in the past week, on weekdays, I haven't seen, you know, I see like 2 or 3 cars there showing that obviously, you know, school isn't in session, and it needs to be that way. Like, right now, it needs to be that way. I understand it's frustrating, I understand it's a shift, and I'm just, dude, fix your van. But just, I get really annoyed going. I'm saying this as someone, I wanted kids when I was younger. Now I have absolutely no interest in having children. Not that I don't like children, I just don't want to have kids. I have other stuff I want to do. My girlfriend is the same way. We just don't want kids. But that said, I could not even begin to fathom having my kids go anywhere near a school at this time. And yet you've got these parents who are just like, oh my God, this is stupid. They need to make the kids go back to school. I have stuff to do. And I'm like, you know, if you're a parent, especially of a very small child, well, usually most children are small, and you're putting the inconvenience of having to deal with distance learning for your kids ahead of your kids' safety during a pandemic, that says a lot about you as a parent. I'm sorry. That said, I'm at the first park. So this is Earl Boyle's Park. So that's how you say his name. These are all, by the way, like parks I've never been to. So these are just little random parks in southeast Portland, like the most south of South in Portland, where you know, once you get to Foster, you're only, well, I mean, you're still a little ways from the county and city border. But this is I mean, this is okay. You know, you've got the classic like beat up fence with some tagging on it, but that happens. It's a decent size park space, and you just kind of got this little area with no real purpose. It's just kind of there. You've got the lights for nighttime when there's sketchy people here. You've got, oh, I think that's, well, yeah, there's like a little playground over there that I think it's butted up against the school, but I think it's part of the park. But yeah, we have another, whoa, almost lost my life there. We have another case of like, you know, a park butted up against a school, but this is a middle school, you know, which makes it a little bit different. Well, and there might even be a fence between the, it doesn't look like it though. No, actually, yeah, I think there is actually like a fence. God, they have a full-blown football field here, man, privileged youth. We didn't have anything resembling that at my middle school. So yeah, so you got some, you know, you got some trees, you got some wildlife, you got the school nearby, you got Kelly Butte off beyond all of it. I wonder if, because you can go out over here onto a side street. But since there's a path going this way, I'm wondering if it, don't mind me, boys. I'm a courteous passerby. I'm a weary traveler. I knew they weren't going to buy that. That's an okay park. Oh yeah, and there's just a street, a full street down here. That's good. That'll allow me to, I think, beeline it back to 112th. I think that's where I want to go, which is literally like right over here, so it's not that big of an issue. It says heroes work here. I wonder what this is. It almost looks like a daycare, because there's like, is that kids play stuff? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's like a convalescent center or something. But yeah, that's Earl Boyles Park. You know, not a bad place to have to walk through if you live in the area. Certainly a step up from most parks in this general area. Oh, hear that sun between the trees like that. Okay, so I made it out of the area back there. I did a couple wetland videos. There's a lot of wetlands back here and a lot of god dang homeless people, which kind of bothers me. I love these wisps in the sky, but okay, my focus is to get home. It's 6:30. This is what I get for sleeping in so late. It's 6:30. I need to get home. I need to hit up the store before I get home. This day's just gone. Alright, so the objective is to go a few blocks up to 124th, not 104th, and then just start beelining it north. What sucks is there's no real great way to get home because Kelly Butte is just constantly in the way. Oh man. I'm so glad there was a loon wandering out in the middle of the street here yelling. I was wondering if he was going to come grab this tire, but no, you're just in the street screaming. Alright, at the point of Tommy's 2, that's where I know to turn. And nope, I am not turning down that road. Not unless I want to die. So instead I turned down 102nd. Looks slightly less sketchy. Yeah, these roads where you get closer and closer to the freeway, they get a little bit more undesirable. And we're like 3 blocks off the freeway, and it sucks. It'd be so much easier from the south to get home if Kelly Butte wasn't in the way of everything. Like, you can't just go through it. and you can't go around it. It'd be a lot easier if I could go around it on the west side of it, but you can't. There's no way, there's no path. You have to go under the freeway, take the path, and then cross the freeway back again. So that might be what I end up doing, because if I have to go that way, I'm not exactly going that much further this way than I would have to go this way, because I'd have to go all the way back. I'd have to backtrack 10 blocks to 112th. It may honestly just be easier, not necessarily safer, but it might just be easier to just go under the freeway. I don't know where I am anymore. I don't know what the heck's happening. There's like 4 dogs just in the street fighting with each other. I just passed Ramona. The street back there is Ramona Street, as in Ramona Quimby, which is interesting. The last video I did, I talked about Klickitat Street in Ramona, which I couldn't remember what Ramona's last name was. It was Quimby, the Ramona Quimby books. Quimby is also a street in Portland, and that's why on The Simpsons, the mayor, isn't it the mayor? I'm sorry, I haven't seen The Simpsons in a long time, but it's Mayor Quimby, right? Both come from the street Quimby. I think there's actually like another park right up here. Bloomington? Is that it? Or is this road just kind of ending up so far away? I think there's a park up here. Nope? Were they trying to write nope and just forgot like the E? Yeah, this is a good sized park. So what is that? Is that a trumpet? It's just a kid screaming. I don't know. Yeah, this just kind of pops up out of nowhere. I didn't even know this was down in these parts. Getting a lot of that pink in the sky as the sun is setting. I just want to get home. I'm hungry and I'm tired. I should have known I'd end up straying much further from home than I previously planned. There's actually like a baseball game going on over there. Stay away from each other. I don't know how you do that and play baseball, but do your best, fellas. Oh my god. I clearly had no idea how far south I traveled, because it is feeling like it is taking for frickin' ever. Not a bad way to travel. So this woman has been walking like kind of behind me and across the street, and she seems to know every single person in this whole neighborhood. 99th and Bush. Man, I just did a lot of wrapping around. There's Kelly Butte right up there, whose douchey existence is preventing me from just beelining it right through there to get home. And I think, oh, that's right, this is where a bunch of the TriMet buses are. Whatever this is, they've been working on it for a long time. And I want to say, is this the 911 call center? I know, like, because the 911 call center used to be at the old Fallout bunker up on Kelly Butte till a bunch of the employees started getting sick and stuff. And I know it's near 99th and Powell, which is the intersection right up here, so maybe this is it. It's in this vicinity. So of course, as I come out here on foot, okay, there's a detour going that way, but I don't want to go that way. So yeah, I can go this way. Detour. Yes. Alright. Keep following the detour that I guess is going to take me that way. So the signs say, well, it's getting dark enough that having the sunglasses on is kind of detrimental. Oh yeah, this is the goat house. There's like goats that... There's a couple goats over there now. It's too dark to see, but... It's taking forever. I swear I'm moving in quicksand. I swear I was at like 100th and Holgate like an hour ago. And now I'm like 92nd just past Powell. It's like I've walked like 12 blocks. At least that's what it feels like. So as I linger about, wandering on, and I'm feeling like I might be at a point where I'm gonna start weeding out general therapy walks, with the exception of ones where I walk a really long distance and there's just enough extra little random things that happen, because I'm still gonna be doing these long walks. I just kind of want to start making them a little bit more centered on something, which means the things that are, when I go out and explore, that are going to be centered on, are more than likely going to be like in their own video and not just part of the therapy walk. So more and more of the, so the long walks are still going to be there, that are therapeutic and helpful as I'm trying to get healthier. So that element is still there, but I feel like it's getting and is going to be getting more and more to a point where there's just not a whole lot outside of whatever, focus thing I'm going to be doing. There's not really a lot more outside of that. It's just me like walking around that I feel is really going to be worth videoing. So, you're still going to get substance from my walkabouts, but I don't know how many more actual, like, just straight up therapy walk videos I'm going to be doing. Because even today's one, like, I hit up a few parks and like I hit up a few wetlands and I was going to make that all part of my therapy walk, and then I thought, these are pretty good sized wetlands, like these things kind of deserve their own video. And that's another thing, is like if I'm out just doing a therapy walk and then I find something really amazing and awesome, not that I think these therapy walk videos aren't important or good, I guess. I don't want to waste something really great and have it just stuffed in the middle of a therapy walk video that a bunch of people are never even going to see. I'm going to want it to be its own thing. And that being said, one of the main purposes of doing therapy walks, so to speak, and I'm just going to cut through here because I'm going to get onto the path, and I'm being a little bit risky. Anyway, the thing that started the whole therapy walk was primarily going to places I'd never been to before. And even then, as I started exploring more of the west side, I started having more videos come out of that were done during therapy walks that ended up not being parts of therapy walk videos. Like when I got stranded in Marshall Park, that was during one of those long walks, and I decided to make it its own thing. So there's still so much of the west side I haven't explored. As it becomes hopefully safer at some point for me to start taking public transportation again, I can start exploring more places like that are further away that I obviously can't just walk to. And then, those can be predominantly therapy walks, because one of the big things about therapy walks is just going around and seeing a bunch of stuff I haven't seen before. But I already knew this area pretty well, and I'm not going to really see a whole lot more unexpected things in this area. So I just feel like as I go out, the purpose of actually doing therapy walk videos is going to become less and less, I guess, in the immediate future. But of course, things change, and whatever happens, happens. I'm going to get murdered. I'm going to get jumped, I swear to God. Somebody behind me. This is not good. My legs are shot. I'm tired. I really don't want to have to run. Of course, I'm being hyperbolic. But yeah, this is sketchy back here. When it starts getting dark. And it's a lot darker on the video here than it is with my own two eyes. But and just like that, what is now pretty crappy battery life on my old iPhone. The iPhone finally died. So close to home. So now I've got my slightly better phone out. It's a little bit more brighter video quality, but it's still very far. Oh man, somebody's coming. Alright, I made it through safely. I just saw, of course, a guy dressed all in black starts coming my way, and I'm just like, nope. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. Save me. Save me. Oh no, I'm gonna go paranoid again. Well, that girl thinks I'm crazy. I'm gonna make it out alive. I made it to Market Street. I didn't get abducted on the dark trail to hell. I love these, how the clouds, this kind of pastel look they get when it starts getting dark out. Okay, cross. Oh no, oh no, coming to hit me, coming to hit me. Hello, Freeway, it's been a minute. So, as is typically the case, I ended up walking a lot more than expected. I'm roughly in the realm of about a mile from home, about 0.8, 0.9 miles from home. And according to my phone, I've walked 10.2 miles, so give or take, I'm gonna walk about 11 miles today. And so for today's trek, again, in terms of kind of mapping out the route that I went, of course, I started up by my place. I was gonna just beeline it south on 112th and then ended up all the way over on 122nd so I could see Mill Park and show you how sketchy it is that it's just rammed up against a school with no protection. Then I kind of started easing my way down south, mostly on 111th, kind of between 112th and 111th, a little bit on 119th, but that was a little too sketchy for my liking. Ultimately, my southernmost point was hitting up the floodplains and the wetlands, and then coming back up at 112th and Foster again, and then meandering over and trying to walk the back streets near the freeway before ultimately crossing under the freeway to get around Kelly Butte, and then crossing there at Market, taking Market most of the way back home. So that's the route I took today. You know, not super eventful, but then again, a lot of things in southeast Portland, especially the southeast Portland that's east of the freeway, very little of it is very intriguing or unique. But that is the way that I went today. And I got to see a lot of stuff I haven't seen before, so it was a positive when all was said and done. So this is a rare moment of shifting sideways like this, but I downloaded an app because the Apple Health thing, one of the things it doesn't do is it doesn't track how well you burn calories. And this shows your steps, the distance you went, how long you've been going, and your calories. And it looks like I've already burned 1,244 calories today. So I can actually see now more accurately how many calories I'm burning. Because one of the things, I mean, obviously I'm walking a lot because I'm trying to get stronger. I'm trying to get my muscles better, I'm trying to get my endurance better, just trying to get all around healthier. But obviously one of the things I'm trying to do is lose weight as well. So how many calories I'm burning is a pretty decent number to know. Because I understand that it's a rough approximation is that you burn about 100 calories per mile. But those numbers shift based on, you know, like what's your height, what's your weight, how fast do you walk? You know, a lot of factors factor in. And I tend to walk pretty fast. Like, I don't know if you can really tell, but this is like my usual walking pace. At least when I'm out doing stuff like this. And I go at a pretty fast clip. So I definitely burn more than 100 per mile. And this is showing I'm at almost 11 miles and I've burned almost 1,250 calories. So that's huge, you know? And I try to keep track with that, and I can see how much I'm burning, and I've actually lost quite a bit of weight. Oh my gosh, you can't see me, but in all honesty, oh, there's a light coming up here, but when I went to the doctor for a checkup, end of June, start of July, like a little over 2 months ago, they clocked me in at 210 pounds. First time a doctor's ever told me, hey, you need to lose a little weight, and I totally understand why. For someone who's 5'9" and 210 pounds, like you can see, it's a little high. And obviously, I'm not, you know, super unhealthy, super overweight, but I want to get back down to like my good healthy weight. I want to get down to about 170. 170 would be about good for me. And I watched a video of me from back in 2006, which of course I was 21 at the time. I don't expect to match that, but oh, I was so thin and so fit, and it was just like, I want to get back to whatever the 34, turning 35-year-old version of that's going to be. There's nobody around. I can take this off. But honestly, got the batteries for the scale in one of my last vlogs, one of my last therapy walks, and I'm weighing in at about 199 pounds. Now, it's also important to realize with all the weightlifting I've been doing, I looked into it and I've probably gained about 4 pounds of muscle from all the, strengthening my thighs, strengthening my abs, particularly in my arms. My arms are the biggest they've ever been. So I looked it over and I figured I've gained probably about 4 pounds in muscle, which means you look at the fact I've lost 11 pounds, but then you also add those 4 or so pounds I've gained in muscle, I've lost like 15 pounds between end of June, start of July, and mid to late September. So it's absolute progress. The final little climb, and I get a dip downhill around the corner, and I am home. Thank God, it's almost 8 o'clock. So what happens, again, you wake up after 3 o'clock and decide, I'm gonna go for a walk. When you factor me into that equation, you end up getting home after dark. Yep, it's pretty dark outside. Oh man, so anyway, I am beat, but I got a lot out of the walking day. So, all that said, as always, my friends, fellow amateur historians, fellow adventurers, thank you so much for watching. And as always, remember to like, share, subscribe, spread peace to the world, and hit up my Patreon while you're at it and help me out there. It'll definitely make it easier to continue making content. Obviously, being furloughed from my job has made it a lot easier to do content recently, but when I end up back in work, it's gonna make it a little bit tougher whenever that happens. So all that said, till next time, thank you again for watching. This has been Steve, the amateur historian.